Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits. As per Twitch's new rules and regulations, now being brought to you tastefully in the nude. How are you, Nick?
You know, I was wondering about that. What a world we live in, huh? Boy.
You can only keep Amaranth's breasts away from the public for so long.
You know, she makes more money in 60 seconds than we do in an entire year, so I don't know.
Oh, easily.
So what are we doing tonight, Chris?
I've been jonesing for a replay of AM2R for quite a while, for a couple reasons. When we did it on this channel originally, we were so in our infancy as far as being able to balance audio and things like that it really didn't come across as well as it should have. And then secondly, since Max and I played it 5 years ago or so now, they've updated the crap out of this, and it's somehow even better than the original project.
Really? See, that's good because I did manage to snag... You might even be playing my copy of this. Didn't I give you this before it got taken down?
Well, so the copy you gave me I actually still have, but this is the most updated version.
Okay, now you keep saying updated. Like, what has been updated? What has been changed?
So the fan community has continually been tweaking graphics and gameplay. Like, you'll notice that it's now in widescreen, for instance.
Oh yeah, so it is.
And then just other little quality of life features. There's a whole New Game Plus. It has a built-in randomizer now, which you may really want to check out. Just looking at some of the options here. Oh, there's also a fusion mode. So once you beat the original, you can go into a hard mode Metroid Fusion based thing. It's really cool. The fan community's just gone nuts with this.
This might be the best Metroid game since Super Metroid.
Yeah, honestly, it's right up there with Super Metroid. So there's 8-bit shaders. That's kind of funny.
Nintendo is so weird when it comes to this property. Okay, I guess Metroid Dread was the thing that happened. It wasn't
Metroid Dread was a phenomenal game, but
yeah,
doesn't excuse how they treated the creator of this game.
Well, I mean, could have been worse. They could have tried to do some legal action, I guess, right?
Yeah, all they served him with was a cease and desist. And to his credit, Dr. M64, I think is his name. He's such a fan of the original property that he was like, no, by all means, go out and support Nintendo, even though they were kind of dicks to me.
Well, I mean, what can you do, right? I mean, and you know what Nintendo's going to do each time. They have to.
You can't fight City Hall, Nick.
Well, I mean, actually, yeah, to play devil's advocate here, and we're here to play the game, not talk legal strategy, but...
No, it's part of the history of this game. Go for it.
There is actually, Nintendo does have to issue those cease and desist because there is a thing in law where if you don't actively defend your copyright, you do essentially give up the rights to it.
Yeah, you may as well give it away. Yep.
Well, no, legally, that's literally it. If there's a pattern of you not defending your trademark, it will go into the public domain.
Sure. Though I guess this is, for better or worse, the definitive version of Nintendo's own game. But at the same time, though, it's clearly a lovingly made fan project. It's not like they tried to make any money off of it, or so I can kind of see it from both sides. But you're absolutely right. I mean, if Nintendo doesn't viciously defend their IPs, then they cease to be their IPs.
Though the one has to admit, though, there is a difference between how energetic Nintendo is with its defense versus, say, for example, Sega, which is really lenient with the Sonic fan games.
Yes,
really a tale of two cities.
Yeah, to the point where they actually, in their smaller development studios, actually will take things from their fan games or, bring them on board to help create some. But
as opposed to Nintendo, which was no, you can't make ASM2R. We were gonna just remake that game. Or
right.
When they did Mario Battle Royale. No, you can't make that. We were gonna make it. And they always do worse versions.
I know. Well, that's exactly what happened with this. Don't get me wrong. I liked the 3DS game a lot, but it doesn't compete with this, which is why we're playing this instead of me trying to find a way to get my 3DS to plug into my Elgato.
This came out at a weird time too, though. I mean, this was back when, if you loved a game, you probably tried to do a ROM hack for it. But I feel like in the last 4 years, independent developers have really learned that the way to go is just to make your own property.
Yeah.
Because you don't see as much of this now.
Yeah, and honestly, I think there was a whole Super Metroid remake that was happening like in the style of this, where eventually the people who made it, I think it's been in production like for over a decade, they finally just said, let's slam the brakes. Nintendo, we're going to get far enough into this that Nintendo's going to make us stop. So we might as well just take what we have, slap some new sprites on it, and make it our own game, which is, I guess, what they're doing. But I haven't heard anything more on that game, whatever it is.
And there's a couple things like that knocking about the internet. Occasionally in my newsfeed, I'll hear reminders or stories about that Final Fantasy IX and Majora's Mask running an Unreal Engine, but apparently their creators have said they'll never release them.
Yeah, of course not. They would get taken down or sued or whatever.
But it's nice to see it out there. So
yeah, right. And then there's still the what's it called, the Mogiri mod or whatever for FF9 that basically takes the original PS1 game, well, the PC release of the PS1 game, and basically creates a custom HD port of it.
I've heard you talk about this before, but I feel like it would be a huge pain in the neck to mod a PS1 game. That is not.
It's actually not. Like, if you have, do you have the Steam version of FF9?
I do.
Then all you need to do is go to the Mogiri mod website, download the launcher, and it will patch automatically. Like, they literally do everything for you.
I just realized I don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore because I can just slip my brother Dre, who's a tech wizard, $5, and he does all this stuff for me.
Oh yeah. You could save yourself $5 though. It really is that easy.
You know, I'll find a way to muck it up though. I really will. It was so nice. He got the PC decompilation port for Perfect Dark working on my PC, as well as that Zelda ROM hack that we're going to play at some point, All Hallows Eve.
Oh yes, that's right. Dude, there are so many Zelda ROM hacks out there, and some of them are pretty decent. Like, some of them are like full fan games in their own right.
Some are, some aren't.
Some are not, no.
No, I've played some pretty good ones, and I've played some really bad ones.
Oh, I am certain you have. But this continues to be the gold standard for fan games.
Why do you think someone would remake this game of all games? Because, I mean, you've played the original one, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not fun.
No, it's really not great. Well,
it doesn't look
hold
good.
up.
It doesn't handle well. The story's not It has no redeemable qualities whatsoever.
I mean, it did try to introduce a lot of the Metroid staples that we now take for granted, but its biggest crime was the lack of a map. And that was...
Oh, yeah.
That
I
hurt
played that.
It and the original Metroid tremendously. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20. Of course, we look at them now and say, oh, man, those idiots didn't put in a map. Well, yeah, I mean, the concept of an in-game map didn't exist yet.
Yeah, that's right, because Metroid didn't hit... Oh, boy, you know, I gotta tell you, I didn't like the original Metroid either.
No, me neither. I mean, Zelda, the original Zelda didn't have an in-game map. People forget that.
No, but you could tell where you're going. There were so many
Yeah,
rooms.
You're right. The nice thing about Zelda was that each location was visually distinct, as opposed to Metroid and, oh my gosh, even less so on the Game Boy.
No, the original Zelda had maps.
No, it didn't, did it?
Yeah, it totally did.
Well, no, it had like the little...
Like a grid.
The grid, yes, correct. You're right, I'm wrong.
Well, that wasn't the point of that, but now I feel like...
No, but you are correct. I was remembering wrong. The grid was a map, but it wasn't like a full, you know, visual, Hyrule, look where you're going sort of thing. That's more what I was getting at.
Yeah, no, you are right. But boy, it was certainly better than nothing, right?
Oh yeah, well, and Metroid was the clear example of that. But it's actually kind of funny because I mentioned how with the Analog Pocket, I've been exploring some ROM hacks that will run on it. And interestingly, there's a fan community that's taking old Game Boy games and essentially making, like, what if Nintendo did a DX version of it like they did with Wind Waker?
Ah, neat.
And Metroid 2 is actually one of the games that they did. So not only is it in full color, but they gave it a map, which is pretty neat and actually really changes the experience quite a bit. I've been spoiled by AM2R, so it's still unplayable. But you know, bravo for that effort and how much of a difference something so small can make. Just being able to tell where you're going. Oh man. But yeah, this game is quite special to the point where it's neck and neck with Super Metroid for probably my favorite 2D Metroid experience. And I say this as someone who still loves all of Nintendo's offerings. Like, I loved Dread. I really did like Samus Returns on the 3DS, but once again, this game came along sooner and did it better.
Yeah, well, and there's also that charm of, you know, one guy, right? One guy's vision.
Yeah, right?
As opposed to a bunch of suits at Nintendo, which, I mean, I guess are guys and gals, too. But,
yeah.
You know.
Well, and you know, it's also funny, too, because I get those visions in my head, like, what game would I, from my childhood, would I remake, and how would I do it? Like, if I had the technical know-how.
Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, I'm not shaking this coffee liqueur like I should be before serving. Ugh. That explains a lot.
Oh, did you get your Cardinal Spirits liqueur?
You know, I did. I caved, and while I was getting gas, I noticed there was a big red barn.
It's right there. It's so easy.
Yeah. So I went ahead and grabbed some, and I was not disappointed. So
it's impossible to be disappointed with that stuff. You put a splash of cream in it, and you've got a delicious cocktail ready to go.
That is exactly what I have just done. I am on my second nip.
By the way, don't let me forget to send you a really good recipe that is extremely easy to make and will impress whoever you bring home on date night.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
it's called the Fairfax, and it's just a splash of the coffee liqueur, a homemade honey syrup, which is really easy. It's just equal parts honey and water boiled.
Oh yeah, I do simple syrups a lot.
Yeah, yep. So a honey syrup, and then weirdly, you have to stay with me on this one, some lemon.
No, I believe that.
Yeah, and it gives it a really good flavor and texture.
Interesting.
You son of a bitch. I love how many missiles they throw at you right at the beginning of this game.
I like also that you don't have to re-get so many of your pieces of equipment either, you know?
Yeah, no, they do a good job with the pacing in this, too.
Like, how many times you got to get that damn morph ball?
Right? Which is funny because it is substantially longer than, like, Super Metroid overall. But they do a fine job of...
it doesn't get stale.
No, it does not.
Got a little too zealous there. Okay, favorite incarnation of Ridley, go.
I don't know, just by default, Super Metroid, just because it was my first.
You think so? Okay.
But as far as like my favorite Ridley boss fight, honestly, the Metal Ridley from Metroid Prime.
Okay, all right.
It was equal parts spectacle and decent challenge, but not like overwhelming.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
I mean, it's just really cool to see him in 3D and to have that, like, oh man, this is what Samus was feeling every time she fought Ridley.
Oh, you know, that's true. That was the first time we ever saw him in 3D. I forgot how novel that is.
Yeah.
You know, he had that rockin' soundtrack, and yeah, okay, that's fair. That would probably be my.
Yeah, Max and I really have to finish Prime because that's just such a... What a ballsy move Nintendo did, handing the keys to a major franchise over to another publisher, having them completely change the perspective of the game, and then knock it out of the park like that. Good for them. I remember when Nintendo was actually doing innovative stuff like that.
I thought you were talking about the remake. Oh, look at that. You had that memorized. That's cool.
No, just the original. Actually, I think you can do them in any order. It's just a matter of speed.
That's less impressive. I would not have disclosed that information.
No, totally.
I just would have took the compliment and ran.
Though it's funny, though, because I have played this a couple times recently, particularly on my Steam Deck, which is just a wonderful way to play this game.
Hey, the Steam sale is in 2 more days. I'm hoping for a sale on Steam Decks.
Hey, if and when you do pick it up, let me know, and I will, the next time you're over here, I'll put AM2R on your deck, because that actually is just a little bit of a pain in the ass to to install, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. I
think I want to go back. There's some stuff I didn't get. Spider Ball in particular. But yeah, sorry, you were saying.
No, we were talking about something, and I'm trying to grab that thread.
Just like the Nintendo of the late 90s, early 2000s
that's
was
right.
just such a different animal than
Who made Metroid Prime?
Rare, right? Or Retro?
No. I think you're right.
It starts with an R.
Okay,
I think
you're
Retro.
right. I think it's Retro, because I've had this conversation, and I swore up and down it was Pandemic Studio, but it was not.
Well, but didn't they like offshoot of like one of their development teams or something like that? There was some way that you made a point that I didn't know before, and I can't remember what it was.
Huh.
Like I think they were all officially called Retro at the time, but you're right. I think they, like, one of them became Pandemic.
I think they became
something like that.
I think that's what it was. I think that their studio was eventually rolled into Pandemic as the developer or something.
Gotcha.
Now let's see. That was a time period where we saw a lot of games go 3D, like Metroid, Donkey Kong, Mario 64, all pretty chancy. Yeah. Castlevania to varying degrees of success.
But yeah, man, I would venture to say that few of them took the risk that Metroid did. Because, I mean, like Mario 64, I mean, yeah, it was 3D and it was pioneering, but it was still very recognizably Mario. Metroid Prime ran the risk of really, like, if it was handled wrong, being totally unrecognizable as a Metroid game. But instead, they managed to essentially make 3D Super Metroid.
Yeah, and that is an impressive feat when you think about it.
Yep. Very impressive. Which is why it's a crime that Max and I put the pause on that game and haven't picked it back up.
Y'all are busy,
Oh, we'll get it. We'll get it. Ow.
Yeah, I was vaguely following that. I sometimes queue up these older episodes at work when I can't listen to the Ultra Kill soundtrack for the 7th time in a row. So.
Oh, by the way, I did upload the finale for Star Tropics.
Oh, I know, I saw it. I listened to it already.
Oh, good. I was going to say, I figured you probably would, but finally got settled back in at home after Dad's funeral and decided to finally hit this, like, 4-episode long play the hits list that I haven't edited.
Yeah, and I figure, it'll get done when it gets done.
Yeah. But then I'm really excited, though, because the next thing that I'm going to edit, probably right after this episode, are the 2 Bigfoot episodes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Which we got to do some more of.
And I don't want to be done with that, though. I want to check out the other maps, and I want to have all 4 of us survive an evening.
Oh, no, I think that's most certainly going to happen.
But, like, I'll say, I don't know if it's just that we've got more proficient or they've tweaked the balance a little bit, but I felt like he came down a little easier than last time.
I was a little surprised by that too, but that game is constantly getting like tweaks and updates, so
yeah.
Who knows?
But like, I'd be okay with giving him a health boost, maybe not a difficulty boost, but a health boost.
I don't know, man. So some of that strikes me as luck sometimes. I mean, remember that last 200 was because he got
that is true. He suffered a minor stroke and stuck himself into the side of that hill. Though, man, those explosives, the way that we had them planned out, we took major chunks of his health off like every night using the explosives and the batteries.
No, we have that down. We know how to do triage tactics against that guy. We got that down to a fine science. I always thought this boss was pretty neat.
He is. He's very cool. Okay. Nope. He's actually also one of the only Metroid bosses that I really have to focus on.
He's got this whole Indiana Jones spike wall going here. Ooh.
Oh, I messed up.
Oh, whoa. Okay, I was gonna say they're asking a lot of you.
Got him. He never had a real chance. Sorry, kid. You're still 2,000 years too early to face me. So, Nick, what are you playing these days?
What was that from?
I forget, but it's like it's one of those stupid like Weibo things to say, right?
I was gonna say because it sounds like something I read in the Bible at some point.
Something I read in the Bible. Goliath. Sorry, kid. You're still 2,000 years too soon to face me. Oh man.
My brain is just tired from a long week, I guess.
I'll be back with my sling. You'll see.
But no, you were asking what I've been playing.
Yes, please.
Oh, come on. Come on,
you're still doing
friends.
Like a Dragon, aren't you?
Yeah, we're all still in the Yakuza Like a Dragon cult right now.
I swear to God, I'm gonna pick it up seriously one of these days.
No, it's been delightful. It's been
It's such a good game. Like I legit feel bad that I always pick it up and then put it down for some reason. I either get sidetracked or forget what I'm doing.
Where'd you good lord, little creature, come on. Looks like he's wearing a little bow tie.
It does. It's adorable, isn't it? Until he blows up.
No, but I actually just completed the main story today. How far did you get in it?
I'm only in chapter 5.
Okay, that's fair. That's kind of like peak narrative in the game for me, in my opinion. But
oh yeah, like the whole oh crud, the pimp with a heart of gold story who ends up dying is where it really picks up.
Oh, here we go. That was quick. I'll let you focus here.
Oh, I'm fine. These baby Metroids don't stand a chance.
No, it is probably the most fun that I've had with a single-player game in years. Definitely this year.
Oh yeah.
Because I just haven't been into single-player games for a while. I've done almost only like social stuff.
Okay.
And it's been a good year for that. This has been a nice kind of like dump a few hours into this at the end of the night, and just chill.
Yeah, and then that's what I love about those kind of RPGs. That's really what sucked me in about Sea of Stars, besides just the nostalgia factor, was just how clean and accessible it was. Like, very few games have kind of charm and simplicity to work with as their bread and butter. They feel like they have to have super complex skill trees and progression systems, and Sea of Stars came along for me and was not just a throwback, but a tribute to when games had a couple of core mechanics that they did exceptionally well instead of a billion mechanics that they all do sort of kind of okay.
Do these level trees that are there because everyone else does it? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I get that. Believe me.
Yep.
I thought it was really gutsy of Like a Dragon to just be a straight up RPG too.
Yeah.
That
series that
surprised me.
Yeah, completely goes against the grain of everything else that the series has done. And not only that though, but to have in the title Like a Dragon, as in like Dragon Quest, and then take the literal job progression system from Dragon Quest 3/6/9.
Not to mention to name drop Dragon Quest on numerous occasions.
Oh yeah, I know, I love it. It's essentially just a Yakuza director who's like, hey guys, I really like Dragon Quest, can I do this thing? Fine. Go ahead. Ends up being the most successful game they've ever made.
And good on them. Good enough to where I guess the sequel is coming out next month.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, you
didn't know
this?
that?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Like
Now
Dragon,
I really got to play through the first.
Infinite Wealth is coming out the 24th of January.
No shit. Okay, well, between that and Persona 3, I now have a glut of RPGs to play in the new year.
Yeah, I think it's been a death race between me, Christy, and Max to try and finish the current one.
Well, Max has long since finished it, but finish it again.
Oh yeah, this is like another playthrough for him, if I recall.
Correct.
Right?
Second or third, actually.
Really? Well,
No,
I really
actually
don't...
third or fourth, maybe. I know he's done it at least
wow,
twice already.
that's a ringing endorsement.
Yep.
I don't really replay games too much. I can't see myself replaying this one, but yeah, I can see why someone would.
Yeah, modern RPGs in general, even if I really, really like them, they're hard for me to replay just because of the length. Like The Witcher 3,
Yeah.
I did a second run through, and I appreciated it even more and thought it was even more brilliant than the first time, playing it through with the DLC. I'll probably never play it fully again until, like, I retire. But even though I'll have a whole list of games to play by then.
That's fair.
But at the same time, like, I love that game to death. It's just such a time commitment, and I have so many other games sitting on my shelf that are new to me that I haven't played.
Yeah, just so little time, so many...
As I play through AM2R for like the 9th time.
Well, that's okay, this is business. Oh, hello.
Sorry.
Wandered your hive, sir.
This thing made a huge mistake, giving me this nice little cavern down here to plop in, and I'm actually being stupid, but that's okay. There we go.
Now, what are you playing currently?
Well, really nothing. Like I said, I'm still settling back in. But what I have been playing prior to life turning upside down was, and this unfortunately is what stole me away from Yakuza yet again. The Cyberpunk update and DLC is so good.
It's basically a whole new game at this point. That's fair.
Yes, and it was already a game that I really enjoyed. But this update and DLC is chef's kiss. Like, as good as The Witcher in my book.
Well, I mean, it was made by the same company.
Yeah, right. But you know, some people still insist that, CD Projekt Red jumped the whale, and they never... They tried to do The Witcher 3 again, and they failed, lols. Though I don't get many people saying that now. Like, all of a sudden, I feel like Cyberpunk is this darling that people suddenly appreciate.
It was a lot like No Man's Sky. It failed, and everybody reveled in that failure for a while. But then it came back better than ever. So.
Yeah, exactly. And now they're two of the most beloved games of the last decade or so.
No Man's Sky is certainly faring better than, I guess, Starfield.
Is Starfield, has that received like an actual release?
Now, we're talking about Starfield, the Bethesda game, not Star Citizen.
Sorry. No, sorry. Star Citizen. Star Citizen. My bad. Yeah,
What are those stories? Yeah.
Yeah, Starfield, I know, has had some
What is a Ponzi scheme?
Yeah.
The
other's just an unfortunate mishap by Bethesda.
And here we are talking about, like, people being snarky, and here we are, but
I just have no...
Yeah, I mean, like...
Yeah. Go ahead.
It was a game that was decidedly meh, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I told you that story. Me and my buddy Josh and Glenn were playing it for a couple hours one night on a hangout. Our reaction was just the same, like, this is alright.
What the fuck?
I guess.
What are you doing, punk? See that little punker? Just hiding in midair.
Chris, it's a baby.
It knows what it did.
This isn't a fight. This is infanticide.
Believe me, as someone who has had 2 babies, I know that babies know what they're horse shit.
They know they're little bastards.
Yeah, they know when they're being assholes. Oh man, but yeah.
Go ahead, you first.
If you ever do really want to run the risk with a huge game that's probably outside of the wheelhouse of what you usually play, definitely give Cyberpunk a look.
I gotta say, I probably won't. I mean, I know that it's good, but I know that I said my days of 100-hour games are behind me, but here I am, like a dragon.
You know, the nice thing about Cyberpunk is if all you want to do is just experience the main story, which is really good, it's actually probably closer to the 20 to 30-hour range.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the main story, if you just want to, get introduced to the world and kind of have a sense for what the game and the universe it builds is all about, 20 to 30 hours. If you're like me, though, and you tend to get sucked into intriguing open worlds, then you're going to have 100-plus hours. Don't ask why I have to destroy all of these.
There's got to be something to all this. Okay.
Well, you only need to destroy the one in the middle.
You knew what it was. You just wanted to blow up those eggs before they became a problem.
That's exactly right. Infanticide, baby. Don't sell it short.
Infanticide Baby, that's my rock band's name.
Infanticide.
Total side note, a little bit of a programming thing here, but my Sibs and I, over the weekend, finally tried Lethal Company, which is all over the internet. And
Lethal Company?
Lethal Company, yeah.
I've heard it, and now I can't picture it.
I know we've talked about this before, about it being our replacement for Phasmophobia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. We played it. It was an absolute delight.
Okay. Cool.
So
I'm
that's
excited.
something we should probably play for the channel at some point. It's $10, so
Ooh,
you know.
not bad. It'll probably be
Yeah.
less than that when the Steam sale kicks in, huh?
It's pretty new and it's early access, so I can't see it dropping
maybe
more.
not.
But like $10, I feel like we've already gotten our money's worth out of it so far.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of the nice thing about these early access games. Like, the cynic in me says, okay, well, you can give them money for a game they have no intention of finishing, or you can pay discount prices for a fun concept that you get a few hours of enjoyment out of.
Yeah, I mean, so long as you get about $1 an hour worth of enjoyment, I don't feel bad, even if the game never ends up finished.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fine. I think I have to
Really gotta stop. Really gotta stop dogging out Phasmophobia. I mean, it's not a terrible game.
No, but what they did was really shitty because they had a premise that everybody loved and was a lot of fun, and they turned it into a Call of Duty time sink. From what you told me, that's just silly.
Yeah, we've not budged from that. We've tried to go back, and it just doesn't quite have the same magic.
What a bummer.
One of the things that's particularly irritating is hey, there you go.
I saw that.
One
on
of the things
map, and I was
that's
like, I missed one.
particularly irritating is just you know, you have the rules for the Ghost and Phasmophobia, and then they go and change them. You've got to like unlearn everything, and it's just like, this is nonsense. I don't have enough time to memorize all this stuff.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of all of your equipment being tied to your level. You know, if I do really good in a round and I make like $500, let me choose to blow that $500 on a really good new piece of equipment instead of having to level up before I do that. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you walk into a Walmart, right? You want to purchase a new video camera. They're like, oh, sorry, you're not high enough level for this video camera. Fuck you.
Is this the China social credit system?
Yeah, right. Do better. That's wrong, Chris. Stop saying that. You pay now. Wow, this one is
You gotta get up, get some. Oh, okay, he came back. That was nice of him.
right.
He could have just ran away and like locked you out.
Absolutely.
I like the evolved form of these guys. Those are pretty neat.
Yeah, where they're actually easier to hit too. Oh my god. There we go. That was looking really stupid there for a minute.
Way to swat that baby.
Showed that baby was boss. To come around for that. And I think this too. Yep.
I forgot how neat this soundtrack was.
Add that to the list of incredible things this guy did. He took a really bad, like, Beeps and Boops Game Boy soundtrack and made it great. Like, genuinely enjoyable to listen to. Oh, for God's sake, Chris.
Yeah, with the original Metroid 2, you didn't really have too much to work with.
Nope,
that game was not fun, and I would say not good.
Yeah.
Well, you've got all the secrets memorized here.
Some of them aren't quite secrets. They're just kind of where you have to go to get certain key items.
How is she not, like, getting
vomiting?
Sick in that suit? Yeah.
Chris. Getting frustrated. There we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just drop one bomb.
Yep. Oh my god. All right, there we go.
Wow, that
I wasn't
even
hating it
intentional
enough.
either. I don't know what those things are, but there's a lot of them, and you break them all.
Yeah, I know, right? They seem important. There we go. That's what Daddy wanted.
What'd she do with the wave beam she already had?
Send it back to the ship for safekeeping?
I guess. Are you telling me there's nothing behind that Chozo?
Actually, I know there's not because of the map.
I was gonna say the brick looked weird behind it, but okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it would have to empty out into a room that I've already been in.
Well, unless there's a... Well, okay, alright. You're the master of ASMR too. That is not what this game is called. I'm sorry.
ASMR 2. Fun with Samus. Speaking of which,
Okay.
you know, play the hits, tasteful nudes. It's legal now. This could be our in.
What were the big 3 changes that Twitch made? Like, you could now do tasteful nudity, which so long as like was what did they say, instructive or whatever?
I don't know, but what I do know is I think they immediately revoked some of it because people, of course, immediately tested the boundaries of what was within the policy. So they were just like, you know what, fuck it, we screwed up. But not before everyone got to see a whole bunch of naked penis on Twitch for like 48 hours.
Well, you know, I mean, it's not like it's not on the internet, right? But...
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I love the random things that society chooses to clutch its pearls over.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon the pun.
Well, I mean, I guess it's dirty if I start thinking about it that way, sure.
Clutching pearls, tugging plums, same thing.
I'm learning a whole bunch of euphemisms tonight. Oh wow, these things stand no chance now.
Yeah, no, the wave beam really makes short work of these early game enemies. Except him. Look at him! He's coming at me like a spider monkey.
He has no sense of urgency whatsoever.
Yeah, but he's also not...
He goes at the same pace whether he's bored, excited, or tired.
Desperately
I feel
hungry.
Well, I have 5 more days of work, or maybe 4 if my plans for Friday work out, and then I guess I'm off for a week, kind of, sort of.
Nice.
For factory shutdown. I mean, I say that knowing full well I'm going to go in that following
Factory
Monday
shutdown just has such a horrible sound to it, doesn't it?
Holiday shutdown, I should say.
Holiday shutdown. But factory shutdown seems like what happens when there's like a Homer Simpson style incident.
Well, factory shutdown is also something that kind of happens in the business about summer, because that's when things get slow, and that's when GM decides to usually take 2 weeks off to clean their machines and stuff.
Their annual cleaning.
Well, no, because you got to do your preventative maintenance on your machines and whatnot. I work at a car company.
Oh yeah, no, I give them a lot of credit. Like when my mom and grandpa worked there in the 70s through the 90s, definitely not a safe environment, but they've since been forced to make some changes.
That is a good way of putting it. They were dragged kicking and screaming to be a better company.
Fine, we won't kill our employees. If you telling us we can't kill them, we won't kill them.
Oh.
I don't know why I killed him. It wasn't going to do anything for me.
Well, you don't know. You might get over there yet. Doesn't look like it.
Actually, I don't. No, I don't believe I can get over there from this room. I could be wrong. Let me double check. But no. Okay.
What you reading lately?
I just finally yesterday picked up Shadow of the Torturer again. I was about halfway through it. I was running laps around you chumps. Then other priorities came to light.
No, understandable. I actually finished reading it accidentally.
Oh, really?
Okay, so I'm I'm a volunteer. I'm a precinct captain for our local elections.
Yeah.
And what I would do is I'd bring my hard copy of Shadow of the Torturer to read, because you can't have your iPhone out, you can't have audiobooks, anything like that. So it wasn't until a couple weeks ago I realized, I've read 90% of this book already. I guess this is my reread.
Cool.
So I just powered through. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm done. And I already wrote notes in the margins. So
yeah, right on.
This project is done.
So you are good to go.
It's a good book to reread, though.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Okay, alright. I thought that was good. Okay. Oh.
Thought he could get me. Oh, man. Yes, I'm killing you out of spite. I just hate them, Nick.
I've been reading the Mothman prophecies now that my don't ooh and ah.
Is it bad?
You've seen the movie, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's bizarre. I'm a third of the
Good.
way through
That's
this
exactly
book.
what I would want from the book.
No, you'd think so. This book is all about basically the author trying to prove aliens are real.
Oh.
There there is like no Mothman. Like, I spent the first 60 minutes wondering if I was reading the correct book.
That's actually really disappointing. I'm sorry to hear that.
I am interested to see where this goes. I mean, he's talking about some interesting concepts about, like, to explain Mothman, but it is just straight up like, here's why. I'm not saying aliens are real, but
Aliens are totally real, and you should believe me.
Here's why other explanations just don't work. Oh, why doesn't anybody ever get good pictures? Oh, because aliens are radioactive and affect your camera. Oh,
Of course.
It's
Come on, Nick. Basic math.
Here's the thing, though, is I think this book was written in like the 70s, so I can kind of empathize and let it go. I'm enjoying it almost more of it being a time capsule for its subject matter than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, UFO fever was really huge in the 50s.
Sure
and the
was.
70s. Yeah.
Sure was. That's what I've had front and center in my mind was just the fact that, like, you would have been considered a kook back then.
Yeah, so it was kind of an interesting snapshot of our country for sure. Here's one a movie that I've been really wanting to read a good kind of definitive work on. Have you read any good book about the Zodiac Killer?
I have not.
Because I'd be really interested in finding out. Like, there's so much bullshit, like, oh, was Ted Cruz the Zodiac Killer? Ted Cruz is a piece of shit. I don't think he was the Zodiac Killer.
I got him confused with Ted Kaczynski for a moment, so I thought that was perfectly logical. I know this isn't what you asked, but I have, and we don't have to talk about this, but I have a bit of an aversion, or I don't know, like a little bit of a hatred for true crime books.
What about
I
fake
feel
crime?
I feel like the line between education and exploitation is very thin here.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong on that.
It's not a Chozo, it's just this guy.
It's just a punk.
Oh, this guy's cool. I like him. This guy feels like an SNES creature. Oh, good job. Good job.
Nope. He fooled me. Ah.
This is a cool boss fight mechanic.
It is. Like, they actually took a boss from the GBA game Fusion that was kind of boring and made him substantially better.
I knew he looked familiar.
It's kind of cool because in Fusion you play as him when he's infected, or you play against him infected by the X parasite, but this is like his native form, and he's actually way better in this rendition. Kind of fell apart at the end, but that's okay. That was nice. Nothing better when they replenish everything after you kill them. But anyways, yeah. If you do happen to find, you're right. True crime books kind of run the gamut, don't they?
I just remember that there was like this promo for some sort of Netflix series, and it was like these two gals who have like a murder podcast, and good for them.
I think I know who you're talking about. They're from Indianapolis.
That sounds very familiar.
Crime Junkie.
It might be, but because what I'm about to say isn't exactly a compliment, but like
Well, no, but I mean, yeah, they kind of do. They're kind of the quintessential crime podcast where, like, hey, we're not supposed to be enjoying this stuff, but how cool is it that he fucking slashed their throats?
Right, because, like, I remember there's, like, this promo picture of them, and they're just kind of, like, sitting there in, whatever pose, which is fine, and, like, one of them's got, like holding a knife, and I don't know what it was about that image, but it's like...
Like, what kind of message are we sending here?
Like, what kind of taste is this? And, like, the backlash over this kind of stuff has kind of, happened a few years ago, but it's like... I mean, these guys killed multiple people's children,
Yeah,
right?
families. Yeah, right.
These aren't people to be celebrated. Like, you should not be making a quick buck off of someone else's.
Like, whatever someone says they're a fan of the Unabomber. Well, what the fuck do you actually mean when you say that?
Yeah, I mean, like, when you see someone walking around the convention with like an Albert Fish T-shirt or like a Ted Kaczynski shirt, it's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Right. It means that they're an incel who feels underrepresented and wants to feel powerful.
I guess I feel like it's just more of an ignorance thing. Like, I think a lot of people legitimately just don't think about this kind of thing.
Well,
like, what
and
kind
I
of
say
poor
this as
taste it
someone
is.
who reads and is fascinated by crime novels. But you're right. Like, never do I find myself in the situation of like rooting for the killer that I'm reading about. Like, oh man, he was so close to getting away. It's like what's fascinating for me is always one kind of the mental part of it, like what makes this person snap in this particular way. But then secondly, I'm always fascinated by how they end up catching them.
What's the Dostoevsky quote, real quick? There's nothing more simple to denounce evil, nothing more difficult to try to understand it.
Yeah, right.
And I'm not saying you can't enjoy that kind of stuff. I think it just really depends on how this. Wow.
Like what you're getting.
Speaking of murder, I think it depends on how it is approached, because you can do that kind of stuff, but it has to be tasteful and respectful to
totally.
Like the victims.
Right. Like I love the books that go in detail, like about the investigation aspect, instead of like taking it like, this is how I think the murder happened. You know?
Yeah.
He broke into her house and he waited while masturbating. That's so fucking horrible.
My question to you is, where does Devil in the White City fall on your spectrum there?
I actually really liked Devil in the White City because, well, for one thing, we were far enough removed from the history of it, where like I don't think any of the victims were going to be super offended. But more than that, too, was just kind of the unique time period and circumstances that allowed Holmes to operate the way that he did.
Yeah, that's very true.
But at the same time, yeah, I totally get where, like, I mean, the guy literally had a chapter in it called Cuckoldry that talked about how he totally got his friend's wife to go for him.
Well, that was always his ability, right? He would always
but the author was actively rooting for him to do it.
the author was certainly enjoying one half of that book than the other.
Yeah.
My thoughts on that book.
Which is funny because I actually thought the World's Fair stuff was equally fascinating.
I was going to say it was a horrible murder. It was a horrible book about a murderer, but it was a great architectural novel. Like everyone, like everyone, because I remember every time I went into a Barnes and Noble, like that was, an attendant would always come up to me, at least on 2 occasions, and be like, well, this is the hot book and you should read this. And I've read it, and it's like, I found all the Holmes stuff boring, and I loved the stuff about the architecture.
I thought that part was great. Yeah, absolutely.
That was better than the original book.
Right? Well, which is funny, too, because they eventually started talking about film adaptations of Devil in White City. And
somebody big was cast for that recently.
Well, so that was the thing. They originally, if I remember right, and if I'm misremembering the story, please feel free to correct me, but I believe that they were in talks with Leonardo DiCaprio to be Holmes, and eventually he shut them down after reading the book because he's like, I don't really want to glorify this guy.
I thought it was Keanu Reeves. But
oh, really?
Maybe
maybe Keanu Reeves is the one they're talking with now. But I remember some big celebrity, which I thought was DiCaprio, turned them down, saying,
"You could be right."
I really think we're toting the line between, a historical piece and glorifying a murderer." So I did get a kick out of that, because I remember your comments on that book, and I was like, yeah, I feel you, Leo.
Sorry, I'm actively looking this up here. Yeah, it was Keanu Reeves. It was Keanu Reeves. That makes a lot of sense.
Was Keanu the one who turned them down, or was that Leo?
2022. Yeah, Keanu Reeves turned them down.
Oh, good for you, Keanu. I had the right story, but the wrong actor.
Oh, wait a sec. Okay, well, here we go. Did Leonardo DiCaprio play? Yeah, DiCaprio did end up taking up the role later.
Oh, really? So this is still forthcoming.
But it seems to be in production hell right now, so... Okay.
Oh, just like Holmes. Oh. Hey-o.
It's appropriate because he's a monster.
It's appropriate because he's actively burning in hell right now.
Yeah, because going back to what you were saying there, yeah, because I remember not quite being as hot on the book as other people were, because there's like a whole scene where they're talking about the victim's reaction to like what Holmes is doing. I'm like, you don't know that.
Right, exactly. We don't know that. You're literally just sensationalizing the brutal death of an innocent person.
Right. It's like, and then she panicked as the gas began to fill. You don't know any of this.
Which is funny, because didn't one of the, the people who did Until Dawn, not Quantic Dream, but...
I know who you're talking about, because for whatever reason I was thinking of 28 Days Later. Yes.
But they just made a game with H.H. Holmes, and it essentially does the same thing.
Get out of here.
Oh, it does. Like, the opening scene is like, I guess you're this young married couple, and you stay in his hotel, and you brutally die at his hands. Oh, here we go. This part is so creepy. Oh, get out of there.
Now we got this little Hollow Knight looking guy.
Oh, come on. When I said they were easier to hit.
Is this a juvenile Metroid?
Or like adolescent?
This seems far more interesting than the actual Metroid it becomes later in life.
Right, yeah.
I'd like to think that the Metroids we know are just old and squishy and then like geriatric.
Actually, if I understand the lore, pardon me for quoting Metroid lore at you, but if I understand the lore right, the Metroids that are kind of like the cover shot Metroids are actually babies, but the ones that we see in the Zebus labs are all mutated. That's why they're so big.
Okay.
They're like giant babies that never had the chance to grow or mature. Which really makes Mother Brain an even bigger monster.
Are you disappointed we never got to take another run at Mother Brain?
Oh, that almost brings me back to where we started.
Does anybody care, right?
That that Super Metroid remake, that the fan remake that got canceled or permanently semi-permanently frozen. I'd actually like to see something like that. I'd like to see Super Metroid done in this style. Not that I feel like the original needs really any improving on, but just to see like what kind of creative things we could do with a new set of tools, but that familiar formula. Like there's some remakes that I feel like really don't need to exist, but other ones where it's just like taking something that was already good and just seeing how much we could stretch it with even better things at our disposal.
I think Mother Brain was originally supposed to be the villain in Metroid Prime at one point.
Oh, really?
I'm okay with that not having happened. I don't know how many times you need to dig up those corpses.
Yeah, because like Mother Brain isn't like so iconic that she needs to be in everything, right? Like I think Ridley fills that niche nicely.
I thoroughly enjoyed one of my favorite boss fights, in fact, Metroid Prime, until he becomes the Super Squid. That was painful.
Super Squid?
Yeah. Super Squid, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Until it turns into a big Squid game. By the way, the company that makes those games is Supermassive, and yes, it was released in 2022. It was called The Devil in Me.
Supermassive, thank you. Yep, the devil.
Yes,
yep.
And literally the first line to describe this game is, you play as H.H. Holmes in his murder castle. Fuck you.
Right?
Sorry.
And, you know, like, that's kind of the duality of man, right? Because for every person who picks up a crime novel and is like, oh, it's going to be so interesting to see how they got this son of a bitch, there's also the person who's like, yes, H.H. Holmes, and nobody understands him but me. I could have my own murder castle where women have to do what I want.
Murder castle. How tasteful.
Right? But that's what Some folks go for.
It reminds me of this snippet from a conversation between me and a friend many years ago, because we were just one night looking up Jerry Springer episode titles, and
Are you sure I wasn't this friend? This is ringing a bell for me.
It would have made more sense, but I think I've brought this up on the channel a few times. But dude, if you ever need something to do, just look up Jerry Springer episode titles and just imagine what the episode must have been. But the whole point of that shtick was there was an episode titled Jerry Springer and race relations in the U.S. And my friend looked at me and he's like, I bet that was handled with the utmost sensitivity and respect.
100% it was. Jerry.
This coming from the same show that had him bring on a family of black folks, and then like, well, we've got a surprise for you.
Grand
and
Wizard
then,
of the Ku Klux Klan.
like four robed KKK members come out, and it's like 0.4 seconds before the fighting starts.
Was Jerry Springer the one where the dude punched out that white supremacist? Like literally punched him out, like not scripted, not.
That happened a lot, man. So it's entirely possible.
But he made like some kind of I remember distinctly because I think it was in school when I just finished reading Uncle Tom's Cabin, and he made a comment about that. I'm like, hey, I understood that reference. Oh shit, he just got knocked out.
And it imprinted on you?
Yeah, it did. Because for the briefest of seconds there, I was proud of myself because, like, hey, I understood that racial slur. And boom, done.
Some sort of Uncle Tom. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what he said. That's what he called him. And the guy, the guy just quietly stood up, and nobody. I think they all thought he was going to leave. Instead, he just gets up and calmly punches him in the mouth.
What a true American tragedy, Jerry Springer. Are you familiar with who he was before he was the reality show guy?
He was a serious politician. He was
going to be like the next JFK.
Yeah.
He was a good guy. Mayor of Cincinnati, he'd go out and pass out food to the homeless.
Mm-hmm. But he found way more success as a shock jock.
Yeah, he fell into it. This American Life had a really good documentary about this, and just one of those tragic things.
I have to check that out, actually, because I'm really fascinated by him.
Yeah, and it's only a 30-minute listen, but just this tragedy, like you said, the duality of man. He started his career wanting to help the working and lower class, and he ended up making his bones by exploiting them.
Yep. Well, and the funny thing was, occasionally he would. I remember maybe around high school, early college, whenever I would be like, I don't know, doing homework or writing a paper during the day, I would just have TV on in the background to, like we do YouTube today, to just fill the noise, to fill the void with noise. And occasionally his show would pop up, and he kind of tried to seize the reins of it in its later incarnations. To the point where like he would occasionally come out and just say something truly profound. All right, now let's bring out the midget mud wrestlers. And that, dear friends, like Ahab of old, is the whale that this father of two will never catch. And now, porn stars and the people addicted to their penises.
Help, my parent is controlling my life.
Right. Oh, shit. But it was kind of funny because I don't think I ever, before that, really gave him much thought other than, just the cultural...
Most people don't.
Yeah, right. But to hear kind of what his life could have been like, yeah, it's a little bit sad.
Go on YouTube sometime and listen to some of his campaign speeches. I mean, these were...
Like a guy you'd vote for, right?
100 times over. Well, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but he was a smart, intelligent guy, and he...
That's too bad.
Yeah. It most certainly is.
I wonder if he was ever really, like, happy with his exploitation money.
I remember at one point there was an interview and someone had asked him, like, do you feel fulfilled by this? And he just kind of shrugged, and I think his words were, what do you think?
Ooh, poor guy. That makes me sad, actually.
It does, but I mean,
Because you want someone like that to succeed and do good, but
But you know what?
They
You
don't have
cash
the
the
opportunity.
checks. But at the end of the day, I don't know. If I was being given $1 million an episode, would I be much different?
yeah. And honestly,
I don't know, man.
and honestly, it still is a choice he made. I mean, he may not have been a successful politician, but he's the one who made the decision to sign on for the shock jock money.
Yeah. It's oh, look at that. Good job. I probably would have went with the last ones I would have found. Well, okay, they give you the little dot on the
They do give you the dot on the map, and I just happen to remember that one. So some of the
always felt
later
that
ones
the-
I will definitely walk right by, and you might have to tap me on the shoulder.
Super Metroid was not good about that. Sometimes they'd be marked on the map, sometimes they wouldn't.
Right. All right, I'm thinking like one more upgrade, and then we'll call this the first episode.
One more Metroid or one more upgrade.
Yeah, there you go. This is a speed booster room.
You're
Speed
gonna
booster.
upgrade a Metroid from living to dead.
That's right. Only good Metroid's a dead Metroid, am I right?
Let's make them all good.
Let's make them all good. For their own good.
Where'd that come from, man?
Oh, man. I think I read, like, this, it was one of those clickbait things, like 10 strangest quotes from the presidents of the United States. And one of them was literally, I think it was like Woodrow Wilson or something, just gushing about what a blessing the KKK was for the South. or something.
Yes, he was a huge racist.
Okay, then it must have been Wilson. I wasn't sure if I was...
I think he screened Birth of a Nation at the White House at one point.
Oh, God.
He was not a good guy.
That's unfortunate.
Well, I don't know. That's a good quote, but so was LBJ talking to his tailor about making sure he's got enough room for his bunghole in his trousers.
Oh, LBJ was super proud of his Johnson. To the point where that's probably where that got its euphemism, isn't it? The Johnson.
You know, I don't know how to look that up safely, but
Is the reason that we call penises Johnsons because of LBJ? Siri? Sorry,
Here's
I
what
could
I
not
found.
find. Is President Lyndon Baines Johnson the reason that we call penises Johnsons? You'll have to try another search term. Can I perhaps interest you in presidential penises? Yes,
at least
Siri,
you did say you'll
can.
have to try harder.
Try harder. Stupid. Oh god. But yeah, no, there's some other weird ones. Like there was one about Nixon where he would like, I think he vented to a reporter at some point.
Oh,
saying
if this is the quote I'm thinking of, I don't think we can say that on this channel.
the certain religious group cabal that was after him.
No, it was about
Okay.
people of a sexual orientation.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, he kind of was an equal opportunity offender, wasn't he?
He was my favorite president, but he wasn't necessarily.
But not for the right reasons.
Well, you know, here's the thing. Like, Nixon was an ass kicker. You know,
He was an
No,
ass
no,
something.
no. And you're fighting a robot bird. I don't want to detract from that. But, I mean, he founded
Clearly,
the
you
EPA.
got other things you're thinking about right now, Chris.
He founded affirmative action. He was incredibly progressive for a Republican. He went to China. He restored diplomatic relations with them. He made significant advancements towards the Palestinian peace talks, along with the Cold War and the Russians.
Okay.
Like you look at his resume, he got stuff done, but he was a victim of his own hubris. This has been the most frickin' random episode tonight.
It's been places.
But as long as we're enjoying it, that's what matters.
Okay. Here's
I guess this guy's the prototype to the gold Metroid you find in Norfair.
Look at him.
Swiggity swoogity.
Swiggity swoogity, I'm gonna get that booty. Oh no, look at him go!
Look at that. It's horrifying when you can't outrun him.
I don't like it. I don't like it, Nick. Oh god. Why have I completely forgotten about this boss?
Oh, now he's doing the cat claw. Oop.
There we go.
Oh, you broke him.
But there's a part 2.
Oh my god, it's
Oh,
Ultra
cat
Kill.
jetpack. Okay.
This strikes me as easier.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Final topic of the evening. what is your most hated boss fight in video game history?
Good question.
The reason I bring that up is because this part of this boss fight distinctly reminds me of mine, which is Boba Fett from Shadows of the Empire.
Get out of here!
Fuck that fight. Fuck everything about that fight.
I always thought Gladiator in that game was worse, but...
Well, that's what a lot of people say, but for some reason, Boba Fett sticks more in my conscious as the one that I hated
You do
most.
fight him... Oh, you know, here's the thing, is that stage is ungodly long, and if he does beat you, you gotta go through that whole damn thing.
That's probably part of why.
He's a small target, but once he gets into Slave 1, you can basically just stand behind him the entire time. Okay, I think I have an answer for this. It would be the gargoyle boss from Yeast 1.
From what one? Yeast.
Wise.
Yeast. Okay.
Yeast, yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
It was a total BS, like, it was all dependent on RNG. So you had like a 1 in 100 chance of beating this boss battle, and it was completely, like I said, skill be damned.
Gotta love it.
That whole game was frustrating.
I was gonna say, older games like that can really... Well, they couldn't get away with that shit. We just didn't know any better.
I don't know, man. Like, Bowser seemed pretty fair to me, and that was about the same time period.
Bowser seemed cool by comparison.
That was pretty straightforward, you know?
Something
No, that's a
tells
good question. That was a good question.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. Aha, that was the trick.
Is there some sort of like block that dissolves under you or something?
That's what I was worried about originally, but it was what I was remembering instead was that there was a missile thing there.
That game was, or that room was too dark and too quiet. It seemed like there was something strange about it. Oh.
All right, save point, and then we'll call it. I promise.
Wait, do you get that missile by blowing something up in the other room?
Possibly.
We can get this missile. That's fine.
We're getting that missile. Swiggity swoogity. I'm gonna get that missile.
Huh.
This is a tricky one. Don't remember how to do this one. Damn it.
Would they want you to go all the way against that back wall and bomb it?
I know we do eventually get the X-ray scope in this. I don't have to get every missile, I guess. My first try.
But this is just mocking us at this point.
Yeah, it is. And I think there is a save point coming up here, so I'll try to remember for next time.
That's fair. You can go ahead, save, look up a YouTube video, and pretend when we come back you totally remembered it.
And then totally pretend I remembered it. That's right.
And I will go ahead and play this clip. Here's the link right here.
I think the next big upgrade we're getting is the speed booster, which is fun. One of the other things that I really like about this game is, well, one, not only do they add power-ups that weren't in the...
holy cow.
Well, that weren't in the Game Boy original, but, ooh, he got stun-locked. But they also really change up, like, the order that you would expect to get certain power-ups in. Like, we already have the space jump, which is usually like a pretty big endgame item.
Well, that has so much potential to just break the game, so yeah.
But to their credit, what they did with the level design in this is it really doesn't. I mean, it definitely makes navigation easier, but not so much so that you can just like bypass things like that. And I think a large part of that too is because of how cavernous this game tends to be. But yeah. So it doesn't really feel like an unfair advantage.
You know, you're right. There are a lot of rooms just like this that are very tall and cavernous, so... Oh, okay, you do get super missiles in this game, I forgot. You don't get the power bombs, though, do you?
You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was, like, one item that was missing that I thought was odd, but... Right.
You might be right, but I can't think of what it would be. As far as I know, I think you get pretty much everything you get in Super Metroid.
Clearly you get the screw attack. I mean, that's the freaking logo for the game.
Right. Can't knock at the logo weapon. Okay, there's our save point, but there's also Missile. There it is. There, makes up for that missile that we couldn't get. It will just haunt us until next time on Play the Hits.
Well, this has been a delight. I've really enjoyed going through this old classic with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And my guess is maybe, I don't know, 2-3 episodes more tops.
You think so? Oh, 2? Okay.
Yeah, at the pace I'm going, I'm not doing half bad.
That's a bold claim. Oh, 40%. All right, maybe 40% and 33 babies you have to stomp. I should not say that. I should stop saying that.
Next time on Play the Hits, we're going to stomp some more babies. We'll see you next time, Nick.
Looking forward to it.